My family, my tribe, love to the tribe. Love to everyone who has supported the tribe. Love to King Drain. Love to everybody that's dropping it anonymous. I love y'all, man. You know who you are. Sheila Bourne. All my anonymous family. Javon Yawan Holland. Dre Wisdom. Richard Howe. Man, let's see some more. Alicia, Lacey Parker, Dara Campbell, Deborah Jimenez, Sharon Ford, Kenneth Persons, Francisco Perez, my man Francisco, Sherry Hightower, C. Moore, Essence Hunter, October Scorpio, Kenny Martin, Francisco Perez, my man, Michelle Maquette, Dara Campbell, all my beautiful anonymous family, Chris Johnson, Seymour, Ty Hunter Battle, the sister Ty, the brother Chris Battle, love to the Battle family, true warriors, Don Roos, Hudson, Chad, Abermento. All right, love to the family, Chad, man. Been surfing away for a long time, man. Vibing out, man. Great bro right there. Same, man, with Elijah Anderson. All the anonymous family. Love to the sister Vanessa Perkins. I mean, hey, this queen is actually there. This is a sister that left, you know what I'm saying, from Louisiana, I believe Baton Rouge, by herself. And said enough was enough. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to, rebuild, restart, relearn, empty my cup. You know what I'm saying? Be, indigenous, straight up, man. And the sister got a small, beautiful, trailer situation, man. And thank goodness she did, man, because it was a cold winter. And that's beautiful wisdom right there for you, man, while she makes this transition, man, and was able to shelter the family, Jason and Mario and the queens, their family, man. So the Most High, hey, has brought all this as fabric together. And so you see the sister donating to her own cause. So let's keep support no matter what it is, because all this is directed directly to this family, including the sister Vanessa Perkins. Eddie Tuggles, love to you. See more. Come on. All right, more anonymous, man. So this is all what you've done. What you've done has all 100% gone towards this family. Let's keep it flowing. And this is what we do for Drop Nation Headed Home, because we believe in setting up a new foundation. And this is the family that's doing it now. Families are going to do it everywhere, all across the planet. This is what you're seeing manifesting in front of your eyes, what we're doing now, hopefully, shining a little bit, you know what I'm saying, of a path, for those that are making it simple, man. Like, I just want to connect to the creator of my sacred trees. So it made sense for us to dedicate this fully to J Stu. We will be building another one for all, anybody, in general, that's disconnecting wherever they're going, whatever they're doing. But it just made sense since the family was there for so long, man, and they're rocking out there, as one, along with the creator, making it happen every day through a cold winter. Keep giving the family love. It's truly helping, man. I mean, I love being able to, wire it directly and put it in Jay's hands and know that it's, felt. And I know it's from the community, so let's keep it going, man. From us, Drop Nation, let's support the nucleus of our family. We just talking Moors on Mars, man. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Love to the brother Chris Duncan, man, for this drop. Teach Me to Be Priestly. We're going to start here, man, as we get a couple minutes out of this, and then we're just going to let Prince Uriel Bay have it. We're just going to ride out, because I know he got some more stuff that we need to hear, so let's get the rest of that. I was going to make part 6 the last one. This is going to be the last one, because I did say I want I wanted to really try to finish that Prince Uriel Bay. So let's get a bigger lump out of that today, at least an hour's worth. At least an hour's worth we can get out of that Prince Uriel Bay. So we at least feel like we gave it, you know what I'm saying, a real just sitting, a real just viewing. That's been pretty much the anchor through this series. So love for all your beautiful comments and everything that you're giving, you know what I'm saying, to, you know what I'm saying, make this valid, you know what I'm saying, make it a valid reality for us all to be building together, connected already, not just under a barrier, but connected throughout. We are connected throughout. All right, man. So yeah, anytime, man, come over to 42 to drop. I always try to keep it fresh, man, with whatever and whoever is dropping that drop. Love to all the family, love especially, man. I mean, I always got to throw it back to Lex. No bones about it. Lex, man, has been on his own fighting hijacks, man. Making it hijack free. You know what I'm saying? Fighting hijacks. So we always got to, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, take a step in that moment to show our appreciation, to say, I love you. My brother Lex Will, I love you. And that's how we rock. That's tribal. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is, man. So keep it dropping, keep it dropping. All right, man. You know, so what? So what? I like some Coldplay songs sometimes, man. This is a damn good song. Lovers in Japan. Deal with it, man. Don't judge me. I told y'all about that, man. Great film drop right here, man. That's connecting that Great Wall of China. All right. Yeah, I told y'all, man. We tribal. We tribal. All right, man. I'm just trying out some, you know, I just typed in tribal war drums. It took me to that Japanese war music. Samurai battle march, man. That's what y'all been hearing, man. So that was pretty dope. All right. Let's jump into this teach, man. Love to everybody rocking the drop, man. Supporting the drop. Supporting everything we do. Supporting the crew, J Stu, his queen, Camellia, Vanessa Perkins right there, holding it down. You see the trailer, man. Harboring the family. Gave us the time to, you know what I'm saying, put what we had to do together. Man, I'm so proud of the bros, man. All of the family, man. Especially our bro Hiram, especially our bro AD. I mean, real spill. You know what I'm saying? Love to Isaac, love to Uno, because I know, you know what I'm saying, all of our hearts, all of our, you know what I'm saying, energies in the right place, man. So, you know, to be able to pull this off, to do what we've done, to put up what we put up, in a short amount of time, the Creator made a way for us, man. Whoever thought we'd be able to, you know, truly put cooperative economics together like this, over 20K. To secure 10 acres, man, to begin a refuge situation as we come into this harvest spring season, as this weather starts, you know what I'm saying, you know, making it, you know, making a way for us, man. You know, it's going to make perfect sense. So wherever we go from here, we know that we built it together. You know what I mean? So keep building with us, because we're building for you and with you. You know what I'm saying? We're not just over here just saying, oh, we surfing the wave. No, we actually have the land. We actually have a tribe. We actually are rocking indigenous, no matter what you like and what you don't like. So all the Creator asks us is to be in order. It's to put no power before our power, and we're doing it. You can't have no bones about it with us. Looky, like it. All right, so love to the crew. Love to our sister Shalice. Love to our bro Mario, man. I mean, beautiful indigenous vibrations to all the fam. Let's get it. Teach me to be priestly, the Egyptian city in the Grand Canyon, Shemitic and Hamitic house of the sun, Hathor Bel Peor. Interesting. I want to go right into the 9-minute mark, because I want to get about 15 minutes of this before I just give it, you know what I'm saying, to the bro. You know what I'm saying? Prince Uriel Bay, man. I just want to, you know, give him his due, man. We did 7 parts on this, so we might as well let him have it. Love to the brother Teach, man. Y'all check out all this, subscribe, all that. Let go. Let's belly flop right here to the 9-minute.
Yo, what's going on, family? This your boy back with another video. Just want to give all thanks and praise to the Most High, man, for the opportunity to come amongst you guys one more time and build. You know what I'm saying?
Here we go. Belly fly. Let go.
Peor, set of verses right here. You can go check out. Now check out what it say right here. Literally meaning the Baal of Peor, right? The Lord, right? Baal means Lord of the house of Horus. Now I'm like, man, okay, but damn, that's crazy, right? Now, even if you keep.
Whoa. I mean, if we just walk away at this point, we got so much drop that the brother just pointed out that goes along with this. The Moor, the Moabite, the Mahomet, the Baphomet of Belus. This is part 7 and the final part. And yeah, so Baal, Bay and Els and Baals. Baal pure. What does it say? The Lord of the house of Horus. So we're just talking Horus. We're just talking with the Pharaoh's permission. We're just talking Thoth. We're just talking Egypt. We're just talking Atlantis. Now do you see it's the same gods? He's going to get into what they're calling the Shemitic god Shemesh, which is, interesting with that CHEM when you start getting into the KHEMs, Chemosh. So is it Shemesh or Chemosh? Either way, you're getting right here to the house of Horus. All right, let's go.
Going to say an Aramaic inscription found at Deir Aleph identifies Balaam as a prophet of Shemeth, right? Like the other tab said, and it say a Semitic sun god, and consequently it could well be the case that the unidentified Baal of Peor is Shemeth, right? But what's the real drop? You know what I'm saying, that we really looking at is this. You remember from Jewish encyclopedia, it say Baal Peor is the same as Beth Peor and is contracted from Beth Baal Peor. But it is this 3-word term right here, Beth, Baal, and Peor, like this tracks that to what Baal of Peor, the Lord, the Baal, house, the Beth, Peor, the Shemesh, son, Horus, son, Ra, right? So, you know what I'm saying? So, when you do your digging and whatnot, and you look like, okay, house of Horus, house of Ra, because Ra and Horus, I guess when you're looking at it, they really eventually become, like the same deity, like the Egyptian pantheon, I guess. So, but when you look at for house of Horus or house of Ra or city of Ra, you know what I'm saying, city of Horus, you get some interesting things. Okay, so when you, like I said, when you do that particular research on house of Ra, house of Horus, something like that, see what you can find. And, city of Ra, city of Horus, you get Heliopolis, right? So Heliopolis, city of the sun, right? Beth Peor, house of the sun. Beth Shemesh, house of sun, or Beth Horus, house of Horus, still house of sun, right? Or city of Helios, Egyptian, whatever that is, was one of the oldest cities of ancient Egypt, the capital of the 13th or Heliopolite nome of Lower Egypt. Okay, let's get down now. This point. The ancient Egyptian cult centered Ionu, occasionally spelled Anu, named An, in the Hebrew Bible. So the city of the sun, Heliopolis, the ancient Egyptian city, is also called An, and that's the ancient Egyptian city of An in the Bible, right? It was renamed Heliopolis by the Greeks, Helio in Greek, in recognition of the fact that the sun god Ra, Helios in Greek, presided there, right? House, you know what it is. Ionu is mentioned in the pyramid text as House of Ra, right? Okay, House of Ra, House of Horus. However, because as you're going to see, like I said, these two deities are both sun gods, but they eventually kind of like become the same deity. The name Heliopolis is of ancient Greek, meaning city of the sun, as it was the principal seaship of the sun god Ra, right? And the closely related deity Atum. Originally, the ancient city was known by the Egyptians as Iunu, right? As they said up there, that is what? House of Ra, right? And Iunu is mentioned in the pyramid text as House of Ra. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So it means place of pillage. In biblical Hebrew, Heliopolis was referred to as On, right? Or Awen. Alright, so let's see. The Egyptian god Atum is the chief deity of the city of Iunu, Heliopolis, and was worshipped in the primary temple known as Per Aat. Alright. Per Atum, house of Atum, right? House of the sun. Okay. Although in later times, as Horus gained in prominence, worship focused on the syncretic solar deity. See, they are solar deities. He became Ra Harati, literally Ra, who is Horus of the two horizons. So you see what I'm saying? Like House of Horus, House of Ra, it can all lead us back to the same essential thing, which is House of the Sun. You feel what I'm saying? That's what we're looking at. Now, what's crazy about that is House of the Sun, or House of Ra, Heliopolis, the biblical city of On, is also called in the Bible, or referred to in the Bible as Beth Shemesh. Right? So, okay, we're going to go over here to Bible study tools. We're going to look up the biblical city of On. On, light, right? The sun. Wow, check out them.
Doesn't that remind you of the Wizard of Oz? Interesting. Let's go.
We're going to come back to that. The great seat of sun worship, also called Beth Shemesh, right? That's the Shemitic way to say house of sun. You see what I'm saying? Beth Shemesh, right? Remember what the heresy of Peor tab said about Baal Peor, right? He was Balaam was the prophet of Shemesh. Out the way, was a prophet of Shemesh, right? The Shemitic sun god, right? The word Shemesh is still Hebrew for sun, right? So Shamash, Shemesh is still sun. So you know what I'm saying? If they're gonna say that Baal Peor is accurate, then Baal Peor can be identified as Shemesh. So Peor would then, translate to Shemesh or sun the same way they got it on this tab, translate Peor translating to Horus. Essentially is what? The sun, right? Let's see. Okay, so alright, so it was also On, the city of On is also called Beth Shemesh, right? Let's see what we want. The Vulgate and the LXX versions have Heliopolis, city of sun, instead of On, right? You see it, city of sun. Maybe the name given to On, the prophecy being that the time will come when the city, which is known as the city of the sun god, shall become the city of destruction of the sun god, i.e., when adultery shall cease and worship of the true God shall be established. Okay, so and just to kind of prove that it's not just On, that is the name for that Egyptian biblical city, but it's also Beth Shemesh. We're gonna go to Jeremiah chapter 43, verse 13, and it says right here, he shall, we're going to start at 12. It says, and I will kindle a fire in the house and the houses of the gods of Egypt, right? The gods, who was the gods? Ra, Moor, right? So in the houses of Ra before, he shall burn them and carry them away captive. He shall array himself with the land of Egypt, and the shepherd putteth on his garment. He shall go forth from thence in peace. He shall break also the images of Beth Shemesh, right? That is in the land of Egypt, and the houses of the gods of the Egyptians shall burn with fire, right? So Beth is telling you right here that Beth Shemesh is in the land of Egypt, right? On Heliopolis, which is called Beth Shemesh. But now, so understand one thing, you know what I'm saying? Beth Shemesh is just Beth Shemesh, house of the sun. It's a couple Beth Shemeshes, you feel what I'm saying? Because anywhere they got this house of sun worship throughout their lands, you feel what I'm saying? It would be called Beth Shemesh. So as you look, as you can see, there's, you got Beth Shemesh of Judah in the Judah territory, Beth Shemesh of Naphtali. Hold on, Okay, so as you see, Beth Shemesh of Judah. You got one of Issachar, Naphtali. Okay, then you got the Beth Shemesh that's in the land of Egypt, right? Okay, so, catch this, but this on Bible Hub. But right here, I'm gonna just start right here. If Beth Shemesh is with the house of the sun, then the balancing of the statement would only be only between the pillars and houses, but it seems more naturally to be between Beth Shemesh, a Semitic place of worship that is in the land of Egypt, on one hand, and the Egyptian place of worship, the houses of the gods of Egypt, on the other, right? So that's kind of important right there, what they're saying. Right, you got the Shemitic place of Egyptian house of sun worship on one end, and then the Egyptian house of the gods of Egypt on the other. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of interesting. Okay, now so trying to put this thing in perspective. You know what I'm saying with our land over here in America. And we're looking at the Utah territory or the Moab territory that excuse me, not can just be limited to the Utah area. As you can see, back in the day, the provinces or the territory was a little bit more expanded. You know what I'm saying? But so what we're looking at is the place of Moab and the Moab desert being in that Utah Four Corners territory, and then this Egyptian city, right, that they find in the Grand Canyon, and we're trying to see what's up with that, because we got a Beth Peor, you know what I'm saying, a Beth, or a house of the sun, or a house of the Lord, or excuse me, the Lord of the house of horrors, right? And so checking out this article right here, man, it says ancient Egypt came to America. Was biblical Joseph king over an Egyptian empire in the USA? Evidence says yes. Alright, so we're gonna dig into this. Okay, so this is a little artifact they found, right? Shoe the crocodile was the soul that King Zaphnath Joseph chose first. This was the first known crocodile hieroglyph for any king in Egypt. I'm gonna just, put some little bits and pieces out of it. Like right here, I scroll down a little bit to say many generations ago, when Egypt was becoming less than prosperous, a man who was blessed by God and that he was given the gift of interpreting dreams came to the United States of America, right? Came to the United States of America to establish a second Egyptian empire. His name was Joseph, son of Jacob. Alright, so check this part out right here. Hold on 1 second. Alright.
And of course, as we, have learned to surf this thing, did he come over here from there, or was he already here? This is when we, start to connect all this. Now look at the name that they call Joseph. Let's go. And yo, this brother's doing an incredible job. We're gonna get a few more minutes, but Teach is one of those, you know what I'm saying, real one day ones. You know what I'm saying? From day one, the bro's been real and nothing but real. I mean, the complete vibration that he's spreading. You know what I'm saying? The combination. You know what I'm saying? When it gets to, it's not just the info, man. It's the vibe. The vibe is first. The vibe is first before the info. So he's one of the bros that, you know what I'm saying, just like the bro Higher Mark, man, that I'm going to actually, since he's going there, I got to get some of that Higher Mark, man. He's been, putting that nail all in that coffin, man, opening up these sarcophaguses, these mummified bodies, man. You know what I'm saying? Nah, man, digging it all out of here, man, digging on this drop zone. We're going to try to go bang, bang so we can get into this Prince Uriel Bay. Let's get a couple more minutes, man. Love to the brother Teach. Let's go.
We're talking about, how the story go, but I just wanted to give you some of the little, Pharaoh found favor in his wisdom, and Joseph gained much respect and power. As a result, Joseph became king of Egypt, right? And would then be called Zaphnath, the crocodile. The dream God gave Joseph prophesied coming, drop, and suffering, which he relayed to the Pharaoh. These dreams allowed them to prepare for the tragedies that lie ahead. Ancient Egyptians came to America, so did Joseph, and he was their king. Okay? Okay, so as we scroll even further down, see we got this Grand Canyon, Colorado tab. Okay, this diagram was extremely valuable to the Smithsonian archaeologists who were exploring the power tunnel in the Grand Canyon. It is a diagram, this one up here, of the Egyptian writing symbol used by the ancient Egyptians when they came to the Grand Canyon. Alright? And they say Joseph was their king, right? It was a school tablet that was utilized for teaching Egyptian children to read and write. Coincidentally, the animal and bird hieroglyphs carved into the cliff walls of the Grand Canyon were used to describe various ranks of the king. It's also noteworthy that the rectangle box located at the top of the second row from the left is the Hebrew Ark of the Covenant symbol. Also later, the lower in the same row is a button, which was the Hebrew symbol for the sun on the right hand. Right? This is stuff they find in the Grand Canyon. Okay. So,
and make no mistake about it.
All around the internet is from.
Make no mistake, man, that you know what I'm saying. These shepherd kings, my busy. These shepherd kings were huge in this so-called Egypt. These shepherd kings, these lineages, these you know what I'm saying, so-called Hebrews. You know what I mean? Whether it's Joseph, you're talking, whether it's Moses, you're talking, whether it's you know what I'm saying, even some say Akhenaten, you know what I'm saying, had a connection, and others say he was an alien. Some say he was a this, but you hear all these things. Now he's going to get into the name that is found, and then we're going to do a good jump into higher mark.
Archaeologists. It is King Akhenaten and Queen Nefertiti that their ancestors and the children's names are found on the artifact. The Egyptian name of Zaphnath or Joseph is one of their ancestors. It is recorded that Akhenaten restored the Semitic religion of Ammon in Egypt at Suwar, Egypt. Okay, Akhenaten was the ruler in Egypt from 1353 to 1336 BC, and his son Seteprene was also an Egyptian ruler. It was also recorded as a king at Saqqara, Egypt as well. This Egyptian information means that Egyptian kings came to the Grand Canyon at various times, but also made return trips to Egypt. And this, along with some other information.
So again, we're just talking Akhenaten. We're just talking about the Semitic religion of Ammon, they're saying. Where you're just talking about the law of order of the creator, of one energy, one flow. All right. Beautiful, man.
I will share also means that Joseph, son of Jacob, also came to the United States. Right? So I just found that crazy, man, that they referring the this Egyptian city ran by Joseph. You feel what I'm saying? The Egyptian King Joseph, the Hebrew Egyptian King Joseph, to be in the Grand Canyon in the United States. Okay, you scroll down some more, you know, they're talking about Zoroaster, Joseph, Temple, the Egyptian legend of Zoroaster, more evidence of Joseph.
Bang, Zoroaster. So remember, we got some of that out the OSB, you know what I mean? But the Zoroaster seems to be a foundational legend for a lot of this, you know what I'm saying, law energy. This Zoroaster that was teaching this law that these people are basing this stuff out of, then they spin it into the same thing, you know, into a version of Christianity, into a version of this, into a version of that. But this is something that we got to dig on, especially if we're going to connect Zoroaster with Joseph. Can we connect that on our own in our, you know what I'm saying, recon that we're already pulling out? So very interesting connection right here with Zoroaster and Joseph. Now on that, let's do a quick hop skip into my bro Higher Mark, man. What's so dope is that since I got, you know, most of y'all already categorized, you know, actually look at this, man, who got the drop? Higher Mark. He already got the drop, man. So let's go ahead and belly flop into this joint.
So we have to say.
And again, we're just talking about ancient artifacts found in the Grand Canyon. Now, I just want to belly flop in here to about the 43 minute mark. And we're going to get into some more of this Grand Canyon.
About 40 square. All right. Okay, so.
He's written an article called The Egyptian Treasure Cave of the Grand Canyon. Now, listen up. This is by William Somerville. Love to the bro, man. He's been on it with this and everything else. This Caucasianism is amazing. No Negro. I mean, you know, let's keep digging, man. Man, we got the land, man. My bro, let's go.
You know, I just really want to get down, like I said, okay. So yeah, well, he talks about the shrine. So this is actually Kincaid's first information that he brought forth of his findings in the caves, okay? So they just waited to the end to present his information, but I'm glad they presented his information with the book, his logs about what he really seen, what his eyes seen, okay? And like I said, Hatchet, Indiana Jones, he went back to concur that. Okay, so this is his writings. S.A. Jordan, remember they were a team. S.A. Jordan and Kincaid were a team, and so we had a lot of mix-ups with the Gazette article, the Gazette newspaper. We had a lot of mix-ups with the state. I mean, the Smithsonian institution basically denying the claims of S.A. Jordan and Kincaid. But then, as we see further paperwork of Smithsonian giving Kincaid evidence saying that he did submit artifacts to the Smithsonian. So it's just a lot of hitting us over the head with some bullshit, but you know, we bobbing and weaving, we looking for food.
Yes,
we
sir.
understand that there is clarity, even in a room of fog. There's clarity.
Come on.
Israel.
Come on.
We have clarity, even in a room of fog.
Let's
Because
go.
we understand what you are trying to hide. So we're just righting your wrongs. We righting your wrongs, man. And I know you mad at that. But ain't nothing you can really do about it. Alright? So by their instincts, they're saying that this was a shrine. Over 100 feet from the entrance is a cross. Entrance is the cross hall. Okay, several hundred feet long, in which are found the idol or image. Okay, an image of the people's God. Okay. So why would they say it's the people's God? I don't know. It's just something that they're throwing out there. They're saying that this is the people's God. Was it a picture of a black man? or a black woman, so-called black woman, melanated, carbonated, why would they say that, this shrine was the people's God? Okay? With the lotus flower or lily in each hand, the cast of the face is oriental. Okay? And the carving, this cavern. And the carving, this cavern. The idol almost resembles Buddha, though the scientists are not certain as to what religious worship it represents. Taking it into consideration, everything found thus far is possible that this worship most resembles the ancient people of Tibet. So, what scientists or historians will say that they think it was a statue of Krishna or Vishnu. And, I think those are guesses in the park, because due to our overstanding of things, so I wasn't there, so I can't say what he actually saw, but our conception is misconcepted over what we think our people, especially when you're talking from an invader or an outside interference, because what they learned was wrong. So if they're learning something wrong, then how can they right our wrongs? When we flat out told them, when they came and encountered us from the invasion, that we worship nothing, no idols, that we worship only the Most High, the one true, supreme head. So, I just don't understand. I don't understand where's the mix-up. I don't understand where's the confusion. If I told you I only worship the Supreme, the Creator of all things, so who is you worshiping then? And then you still come back with me after I tell you that. So who are you worshiping? Okay? So they say surrounding this idol are small images, some very beautiful in form, others crooked, naked, and distorted shapes, symbolic, probably of good and evil. See, here they go again with this good and evil. They're always doing that because that's what they were taught. This Christianity shit. Good and evil. There are two large cactus with protruding arms, one on each side of the dais on which the god squats. All this is carved out of hard rock resembling. See how they say the god squat? Why would you call just some statue of God? That's just the stuff that they used to, man. Because they are the murmurers of it, the martyrs of it, worshiping false gods. That's why, turning everything into gods. Turning everything into gods. Okay? That's what their specialty is, because they know of not the true, most merciful.
Hey. And these are their gods. Everything that they see as powerful, melanated, they have always worshipped. They worship your melanin. It's God-like to them. It's something else. You know how they be wanting to touch your hair and be like, this, you know what I'm saying, so-called Mexican woman came up to me, you know what I'm saying, I was kicking it with my little shorties, and her little one was like probably 3 or 4, and I'm just like, what's up, little man, you know what I'm saying, just a cool little, cool little essay, man, you know what I'm saying, everybody's cool, this is how we do it, we in Inglewood. She come over to me, she like, hey, man, he just, he's never seen, curly hair before, so You know, I think he just probably wanted to touch your hair. He's never seen curly hair before. I am not bullshitting you. I'm in Inglewood, man. Born, raised, turf, LA, South Central, all that. I'm right here. And this so-called Mexican woman, you know, peace to her, roll up on me in this little play area. We chilling. And straight up tell me that her little one's never seen curly hair. Now, you know, maybe that's an isolated situation. Who knows? All we know is that our people are way fucked up right now. And when we're getting this shit, like the brother High Mark is kicking, it's coming from them. Everything's coming twisted. And we're trying to, you know what I'm saying, get the groove, man. We're trying to stay in the groove, trying to stay in the flow as we untwist this shit. But the world is getting stranger. While we are getting realer, everything is getting more unreal. Don't you notice the more real you get, the more unreal they become? Let's get a couple more minutes, man. The brother's getting in. Then we'll, you know, make a long flow out with the brother Prince Uriel Bay. We'll at least get a good hour out of it. That's the best we can do. And I encourage you again to watch the whole thing, man, from top to bottom. You got the link. Let's go.
Okay, so all this is carved out of hard rock, reassembling marble. Okay, it is opposite corner of this cross hall, were found tools of all descriptions made of copper. Tools made of copper. I can't even imagine what it looks like. These
Made of
people
copper.
undoubtedly knew the lost art of hardening this metal, okay, which has been sought by chemists for centuries without results. They can't even figure out how to soften this copper metal.
Wow.
On a bench running around the workroom was some charcoal and other material probably used in the process. There are also slag and stuff similar to mat. Okay, showing that these ancients smelt ores, but so far no trace of where and how this was done has been discovered, nor the origin of the ore. Remember, a lot of their discoveries and a lot of their researches and their capabilities. Their capabilities of doing research is just, I mean, it ain't started long ago. Remember, according to them, their first Mayan photo study wasn't until 1876 by Robert Muller. So not until 1806 were they able to take photos for study. Okay, the first scientific study wasn't even until, as far as they're concerned, the invaders, 1891.
And they just rode up in California, damn near in 1800. All this shit is brand new. And when the brothers kicking, man, straight up artifacts out the Egyptian treasure cave of the Grand Canyon. You know what I mean? When the brothers just kicking that, it started here. You can go research yourself. The explorer G.E. Kincaid, how they kept shutting down. You know what I'm saying? You know, so much of, you know, that Minority Report. But it kept, you know what I'm saying, he kept pursuing. And of course, you know what I'm saying, lost his life in the process. Everybody connected, you know, to that type of research was losing their lives in the process. So when we're getting this to you, this ain't no play. These people have lost their lives fighting for reality. Everyone want the truth. Everyone say, you got the truth. You telling the truth. It's the truth. He got the truth. He got more truth. He got more truth than him. Man, we're saying, who is living in reality? Judge what's real. And what's real is the truth. You'll know what's real on the vibration. You know what's really real. You'll know who a real one is based on vibe alone. And you'll know the truth based on the vibe of it. That's why you have to get on and in the vibration of our creator. Hawa. Your creator. Hawa. All that is existing, all that is becoming, all that is and all that was, all that is established. You know, we ride and we rock for our tribe. We ride and we rock for hey. We ride and we rock for Drop Nation. We rock for High Mark, man. I mean, now you see, now you get it. That's just a little taste of Hiram and a little touch of teach. A little taste of Hiram and a little touch of teach. You know what I'm saying? Keep loving up on our sister, Chandrella Avery, and her fight. You know what I'm saying? Getting this sickle cell research out. And brother Dr. CB had a lot to say about that, man. So, all right. So now we can get a nice, cool flow. And again, man, we're talking about our earth. And we say that which has created, that which has given the vibration, you know, has made these so-called molecules, these so-called atoms, these atoms that are 99.9% empty space. And if an atom is 99.9% empty space, then it is the consciousness that you're swimming in. And all there is the vibration you're swimming in. That's it. Everything else is empty without the creator. A dam is empty. An atom is 99% empty space. So if an atom, what they're calling an atom, the building block of life, is 99% empty space, and when I show you a tree and you say a tree is made of these little molecules and these molecules are made of atoms, then they get them broken down into this and broken down into that. I don't care how many quantum times you break it down, it's still 99.9% empty space. And it's still consciousness and consciousness alone. And because you say your consciousness and claim it, doesn't mean you're swimming in it. When you want to claim all this as Morocco, as the Moroccan Empire, are you swimming in it? You want all of Lemuria, all of Moor in Asia, all of the Americas here or here, Atlantis here, all of this, the land of Ham and the land of Cush, a father and son story. A Thoth and Ashereth Baal trilogy. Nah, man. This earth is created in a vibration for the vibration. This earth is created in a vibration for the vibration. So let's take that vibration and flow on out in their axis consciousness grid, man. Let's flow out in their axis consciousness grid. He's going to break down Philadelphia in America, Jerusalem in America. Let's just go. A good hour of this. And, you know, hey, I can't say I'm not going to interrupt the shit out of it. But at least if I do, there'll be a part 8. But I'll try not to. Let's go.
But understanding the seriousness of the situation, these Moors of the Royal Convocation, was again the fundamental reason for one, the formation of the Corporate Family Trust, the National Trust, in again what later became the United States, and 2, the establishing of the federal political system for the Albion male, as this was a part of the Moors' C3 Communications Operation Command Stratagem, or military strategy, that was used to, as strange as it may sound to some, it was to ensure the survival of future generations. You should also know that even though the Moors, or the Moorish Navy rather, more specifically, fell in West Palestine on the Sea of Galilee in 1795, the royal families nonetheless were still running government from behind the scenes until Civil War era reconstruction.
Oh, yes. So these families of these particular Moors were still running shit up until what, the Civil War? Damn.
So initially, the congressional membership consisted of the above 13 rulers and key family members that eventually comprised 35 members. and finally the 20 observers. Only the Bay kings, princes, and governors were eligible to serve as praisens, or president, commander-in-chief, of which there were between the years of 1774 and 89, 16 to be exact, who not only did they, like presidents of the modern era, sign congressional laws, treaties, military orders, but in addition presided over judicial congressional cases. And in 1775, under the Henry Middleton and Peyton Randolph second-term administration, was the beginning of the so-called or infamous American Revolution. Now, what's very interesting about this is because of how we've been, again, miseducated and taught history, etc., we tend to look at it compartmentally. In other words, we think of the American Revolution, okay, Crispus Attucks, that whole thing, and Boston, and Paul Revere, etc., and nothing else was going on. But as I mentioned earlier, you had a 300 years continental war that was going on in many parts of the continent.
And this is the war that the bro, Asir, the Duke, you know what I mean, Duke of Tears, was breaking down. That was already happening with the melanated family already here. You're talking Moab and you're talking Israel popping off here until they got the reinforcement to take you out with the Spaniards.
In parts of, Guayni Cuna, known as Panama, Maco Tucano Huitoto, known as Colombia, Yonamam, Arawak Carib, Venezuela, Utuapaque Pima, Mexico, Maya, Guatemala, Araucanian, Chile, Diaguita, Bolivia, and Apibon, Paraguay. So, in 1775, this American Revolution took place principally in the northeast areas of Brutium, Jerusalem, Bethlehem, and Idumea, which are known. Brutium was actually also known as Pergamos, which if you read the so-called Christian Bible and Revelations, they talk about Pergamos, which is Brutium, Massachusetts. Another name for it was Comassacuncane, which I'll talk about that in a minute, concerning Hano Bay's legal document, the Bornstone, which is an ancient document, ancient Moorish document, that I also talk about in Libretto 7 of the Consecrated Talisman, which is the Moabite proclamation of Hano Bay.
Yo, we gotta dig on this. I know we got these researchers out there. Dig on that Bornstone, man. Dig on that Bornstone. Somebody let me know if you got some drop on that. You're about to hear him go into how New York is Jerusalem according to them. So, let's dig on it. As long as it's bringing Jerusalem here, like, you know what I'm saying, Horace Butler is also doing in his own way. We're also, bringing that Jerusalem connection. But hey, I've heard Virginia. Now I'm here in New York. As long as we talking over here, we can connect these things, because you're talking about a landmass that might be, you might be included the whole thing. All this could be Jerusalem as far as we know. So let's go.
Legal document annexation of the Americas to the Iberian Peninsula. Now, but anyway, getting back to Brutium and where the war, the American Revolution was principally fought, as I said, in Brutium, Massachusetts, Jerusalem, which is Jerusalem, also known as Fez-Huetas, or Old Fez, which is actually New York. Bethlehem, as I mentioned, is actually Pittsburgh. And Idumea, or Edom, is Virginia. Now, we've learned about the ruddy, pale-skinned man, or the so-called, the true red man, who basically settled in Virginia, and is actually where they were, how shall I say, immured in the penal colony for a time. But nonetheless, Idumea was actually Edom, and as you know, Edom means red or ruddy. So, as I said, principally between this war took place between the brutish Moors of Brutium, hence is one of the reasons why they were named brutish. And then you had the brutish or British amalgamated Moors of England. And these two factions were actually warring with the Albion, or so-called English subject male. And so, as I said, you had the two factions of Moors that were called brutish. And they were called brutish or British because of a covenant that they had between one another, or between the two families, as it were. Hence is where you get the term Brit or Brit, which means covenant, from the ancient Moabite in Hebrew. And we see evidence of this in the January 23rd, 1721 treaty between the Moors of Marrakesh and also the Moors of the Amalgamated Moors of England. Now, just to backtrack for a minute, I talked about Comassakumkanik, Cape Cod Bay, Massachusetts, and the Bornstone, which, as I said, is an ancient legal document dating back to about 500 BCE, and this gets into, again, the whole land title issue. I also cover this, or talk about this, in Libretto 2 of the Consecrated Talisman, which is an absolute land conveyance document that's documented or recorded or archived in Homeland Security. It's in the Royal Archives of the Medina Sidonia family in Spain, Latino. It's also in the Department of State, etc. But anyway, this particular document, Libretto 2, is titled Geographicas para materiaque familiae annalis, Imperium Morosium ac Gentilisio Sanguinis, which is the Great Geodetic Survey and Family Chronicle of the Moorish Empire and its blood right heirs, which basically is a survey, a global...
You heard that right, blood right heirs. Now, who's the blood right heirs? According to Noble Drew Ali, and how they kicking it? What? The Canaanites, the Amalekites, Amalekites. I mean, shit, you gotta clear your throat to get this shit out. That's how hard it is to spit out the Confederacy. You tell me who the Confederacy is, and guarantee you might choke on that shit. It's venomous, man. It's venomous snakes, man. Moab, so these are the heirs. So they are rocking it for their heirs specifically. The bloodline of Moab, Morocco, specifically the Moors.
But anyway, this particular document, Libretto 2, is titled Geographicas para materiaque familiae annalis, Imperium Morosium ac Gentilisio Sanguinis, which is the Great Geodetic Survey and Family Chronicle of the Moorish Empire and its blood right heirs, which basically is a survey, a global survey, again, geodetic survey of the entire globe, giving you the metes and bounds, etc. And this document is to be used in conjunction with the Bornstone. Now, what's very interesting about that is also, as to how we've been conditioned or trained to see things, is we think of these ancient monoliths, pyramids and things like that as artifacts, which is a term, a popularized term that's used by so-called archaeologists, grave robbers, whatever you want to call them. But these things are actually legal documents and should be used in every and all instances concerning so-called claims to land. And I say so-called claims because claim is actually an illegal term. But in terms of asserting rights, birthright, inherited rights to the land, these particular monoliths, structures, etc., should be used as legal documents because, in fact, they are. So, before I go any further with that, I wanted to know, were there any questions about that? Right. Okay. So, anyway, I left off at the Bornstone, and in terms of it being a legal document, and the fact that it should be used as such in conjunction with, in particular, for the elementi of Ame'rican, Moorish Americans in general. And so, this particular legal document, as I said, the Great Geodetic Survey and Family Chronicle, also known as the Book of Blood and Deeds, is Libretto 2, or Part 2 of the Consecrated Talisman, which the Consecrated Talisman, in and of itself, the whole book, is an absolute land conveyance document, legal document, irrefutable and incontrovertible by anyone. And as I said, it is documented and it's archived in the various governmental archives that I mentioned. As I said, also the royal family and the Duchess of Medina Sidonia. And let's see. But anyway, I wanted to go back to the starting from the 1721 treaty. Now, also, what's very interesting about that is that this particular treaty was dealing with the issue of extraterritoriality between these two groups of Moors, and many of the treaties that they made during that
time. Got him. Man, I was listening real good, y'all. Man, I was listening real good. Been working on that. Been working on listening. It's an art form, man. All right. Between these two groups of Moors. So you can't be speaking for both groups of Moors when you claim all the land for Ham and Cush. You can't be speaking for those that are protecting the holy city. Two groups of Moors. So, all right. So that's just more validation. Just like we got out the Seer, the Duke. All right.
Irrefutable and incontrovertible by anyone. And as I said, it is documented and it's archived in the various governmental archives that I mentioned. As I said, also the royal family and the Duchess of Medina Sidonia. And let's see. But anyway, I wanted to go back to the starting from the 1721 treaty. Now, also, what's very interesting about that is that this particular treaty was dealing with the issue of extraterritoriality between these two groups of Moors, and many of the treaties that they made during that time were also dealing with the same issue of extraterritoriality in many parts of Europe. So you had treaties between the Moors of Marrakesh and the Moors of Holland in the 1600s, like 1610, 1653, 57, 58. And many of these treaties, believe it or not, are still in force, as quiet as it may be kept. So you have treaties between the Moors of Marrakesh and the Moors of Germany, because, as you know, the European system concerning what they call Germany today didn't exist until, I believe it is, 1873, 1874. So we're talking about treaties with the Moors of Germany, Bavaria, also the Moors of Thrace, Bulgaria, Herzegovina, Albania, Serbia. All of these places were actually still a part of the, and still are actually today, a part of the Moorish Empire, but also under the Moorish Osman or Ottoman rule, which I'm going to get into in a little while in terms of the expansion of the Ottoman Empire. And what's very interesting about that is that in the 1492 period of Spain, when they talk about, you know, the Moors falling in Spain and this, that, and the other, it was the fall of the empire, that's not accurate or completely accurate, in that the Moorish Osman Empire at that time, 1492, and even going back 50 years before that or prior to that, was expanding, as I said, all the way from Anatolia and the Crimea to as far as the Americas. In fact, the expansion after the head of Satan was taken, in fact, Prophet Ali talks about that in the 101 questionnaire. I believe it's questions 83 and 84, where he talks about the head of Satan being taken. What's interesting about that is, I guess we can look at it, from the symbolic sense, in terms of so-called Roman rule, but actually what they call the Byzantine Empire didn't really exist. It was what is known today as Romania, Transylvania, etc. And I know Transylvania, of course, will conjure memories of or thoughts of Count Dracula, that kind of thing. And what's very interesting is that there was this part of the Moorish Empire was in 1453, around that time, was invaded by a Roman horde and led by a particular clan, the Dracul family, which was later known as Dracula, or the family of Dracula. And Vlad Dracul was Count Dracula, or actually Prince Dracula's father. And Vlad Dracul, who was a member of the Secret Order of the Devil, a so-called secret society, they were the leaders of this particular Roman horde who had invaded this part of the Moorish Empire. And so, shortly thereafter, you had what has become known in history as the Ottoman Wars. And so, it was during this time, 1453, where the head of Satan was taken, and the head of Satan was actually Dracula's father, that Mehmed II, or Muhammad the Conqueror, took. And so, I think it was shortly thereafter that Prince Dracula was killed by the Moors during the war in 1462. And so, after this, as I said, what it did was that it opened up the empire beyond belief. And so it was still flourishing in many parts of the globe, as I said, all the way to the Americas, in Brutium, as well as Mauritania, Algeria, which is known to you today as Minnesota. Algeria was also known, Minnesota, its ancient name was Numidia. I know many of the Moors, like Brother Asir, had talked about the Moors being known as Numidians at one time. And prior to that, they were known as Anamim. Prior to that, they were known as Gaetuli, or of the Gaetulian family. They were also known as Gadamantes. These were many of the names by which the Moors were known. They were the Patrusim, the Kastuhim. They were the Lubim, as I mentioned earlier. But as I said, this was in Numidia, which had opened up. You also had...
So right quick, Numidia is Minnesota, is Algiers. In real time. I mean, when you got the brother Teach Me to Be Preaching and Higher Mark kicking it about the Grand Canyon and Egypt right here, then you have to fit everything else in that. You got to surf that wave. I mean, what do you have to lose? We're only talking about reality here. And this, you know what I'm saying, bro right here can have all these docs open and say, hey, look, man, I do got some drop. You know what I'm saying? Jerusalem, New York, Algiers, Minnesota. He's bringing all this down to Philadelphia. He's bringing all of it down here. Then this is ancient land. And you have to get out of the hijack, get out of the static. Open your eyes, use your senses, look around. You're looking for consciousness. It's that thing you're swimming in. All right, it's pretty good. I mean, I'm just trying to kick back. Because I know we're going to find something real crazy real soon. So let's go.
In Libya, which as I said earlier is Barca, Chicago, all of these areas opened up.
I mean, there you go. We didn't have to wait long. That was 8 seconds. Libya is Chicago. Again, Egypt is here. What did that brother Hiram just say? What did Teach just say about the artifacts? Libya, Chicago. You got the artifacts in Burroughs Cave. You got the Illinois, everything going down. From there all the way to Arizona. And all of that just ain't, you know what I'm saying, Thoth having complete, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the Most High put Joseph up to rock for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Moses rocked out of that. order was always there. So look at that as yours. You know what I'm saying? Don't look at that as, oh, that's Egypt. Nah, man, that's yours. The Most High always had order there. He did what he had to do. Did the, you know what I'm saying, the alchemical process, man. Purified, put the pressure on it, separated, then brought it together again and unified it and purified it again. Now we're coming out a substance, a vibration, a frequency. And that's what it's all about. What it's all about. All right, interesting. Libya, Chicago, let's go.
As a result of what took place in Istanbul, so-called Constantinople, 1453, believe it or not. And after this was done by Mahomet II, also known as Muhammad the Conqueror, the empire, as I said, flourished beyond belief. So I just wanted to veer off a little concerning that whole history, but I'm going to get back to the...
Oh, we got some of that history out the OSB. I mean, Thoth raised up Muhammad. They started conquering. They went up against the false Christ. Now you have Christians and Muslims warring even today because you have the false Christ. And then you have this angel, Thoth, alias Gabriel. And they're all warring, fallen, celestial entity. So when they say Mars, they're not talking about some planet Mars. They're talking about a celestial sky area. They're not talking about aliens because there ain't no outer space. We're talking about energy. We're talking about fallen angel energy. So when you see a gray alien, just think energy, fallen angel, demonic energy. That's all we're talking about. Wandering stars. Mars is a wandering star, is a planet, a fixed plane. Wandering. Let's go.
The 1700s, the American Revolution era, and as I said, the beginnings of the United States Corporation. So in looking at the events, the history, etc., and the wars that took place, the so-called American Revolution with the Albion subjects, so-called English subjects, these individuals, though or despite the fact that they were warring with the brutish Moors of Brutium, Comasacum Canit, and the Moors, the amalgamated Moors of England, they nonetheless sought assistance from the royals, or the so-called Continental Congress, to construct and sanction what would later become the Declaration of Independence, so-called 1776 era.
Wow, so again, he just reinforced whoever they're calling these Moors and these Moors and these Moors in England, that all these dark Moors were not on the same page. Now we can tie in what they're calling Mongols and Cariots. Now we can tie in Prester John and Genghis Khan. Now we can tie in these warring melanated super families. Their gripe is against Joshua. Their gripe is against your Moses. Their gripe is against anyone that is outside of their confederacy because they do well together. They've done well together. But are they united today? Where are they today? Where is their pyramid today? Oh, Thoth is going to save them? Is Thoth their savior? Going to give them soul force and raise up some technology out of the halls of Amente to give them soul force, celestial force, still running his ass off from the hounds of the barrier, still running his ass off from the angels of the firmament.
Now, the royals of the Congress, comprehending well the continental condition and the shifting of the balance of power, despite, again, the Albion conflict with the Brutish, the royals factored into the equation universal and planetary conditions, which then, of course, takes me back to where I started with the whole axis, consciousness, grid shift changes. And I'm going to go into that. What's very interesting about that and the whole magnetic field collapsing, etc., what took place in Atlantis, is that when we look at that in relation to what occurred then and what is expected to occur in the very near future, when you talk about these consciousness axis shift changes. And as I said, going back to the language issue, and one of the reasons why, the ancients dealt with these particular melodic tones was that these, the magnetic field that I'm talking about, when it collapses and human memory is then affected, or loss of memory and memory retention, it is right before an actual shift in one, consciousness, and two, dimensional shift changes. Now, when we talk about dimensional shift changes, we of course give consideration to, again, the grid science. And when you're talking about the grids,
listen up.
Grids, as I said, ultimately also affect consciousness as well.
Grids affect consciousness. So when Thoth set up a Christ conscious grid, I think they said they put it up in the 80s. You got to go back to that spirit science again, man. I'm trying to tell you. Because they did drop and put some babies in the bathwater when it came to what they did and what they done. So let's suppose that there was some grid put up in the 80s. Man, it affects consciousness. It affects your reality. Man, we're breaking the spell.
For example, we're now in the third dimension and moving into the so-called fourth dimension. And when you have this movement of dimensions or interfacing of dimensions, one dimension tends to recede as the other dimension comes into view. Now, just to focus on that for a minute, what's very important to bear in mind, and when we talk about these consciousness grid shifts and changes, is, and also trying to recall what occurred in Atlantis, that once this magnetic field collapses, when a magnetic field and a planetary axis shift occurs, there are a number of things that happen. One of those things is that you have a number of incidences that occur. You have chaos that's going on, or buildup of chaos on the planet everywhere. You have people literally losing their mind. We're actually close to that point right now. And when people begin to lose their mind, they, of course, don't really know what the heck is going on, or what the hell is going on. But what's happening is that there's a ripple in the magnetic field. And the ripple in the magnetic field is actually the thing that's affecting emotional bodies. Now, of course, for those of us who will in fact be aware of these particular changes, consciousness grid shift changes, will know exactly what to look for, what not to look for, what to do, what not to do. Also, when you have these dimensions interfacing, third, fourth dimension interfacing, and the grid consciousness and third dimension receding into the fourth dimension, this is a period of 5 or 6 hours that you have the ripple of magnetic effects. And when that happens, not only do you have, as I said, third dimension receding, but you have all of the objects in the third dimension receding. In other words, any artificial manufactured objects that exist in the third dimension begin to disappear. And as I said, a lot of people will be losing their minds because they won't know what's going on. And you begin to see images from the fourth dimension showing up in the third dimension. But it's important to recall that when this happens, that you're not to actually touch anything. As a matter of fact, this brings back memories of the first Raiders of the Lost Ark, when they were tied to the pole, and they opened up the Ark of the Covenant, and you had these spirits come out of the box, and Harrison Ford told the young lady that was strapped to the pole with him, not to touch anything, in fact, not to even look at anything. Because what happens is that if you touch something or you look at it too long or too long a period, you actually get sucked into the dimension too quickly. And when that happens, well, you know, you have a series of problems. But also, what happens during this time is that for a period of 3 to 5 days, when the magnetic field collapses and you have this consciousness grid shift changing, you go into a complete void, a black void. And your field of view and field of vision, everything just disappears until the actual dimensional shift. And so, this is one of the things that we definitely have to be prepared for in the next few years. But, so as to get back to the continental United States, that whole thing, in terms of the royals factoring into the equation, which is what caused me to veer off into the whole dimensional shift, consciousness axis grid shift change, is the universal and planetary conditions that they factored into the whole equation. Thus is why they gave great consideration to sanctioning the Declaration of Independence for these Albions. So they thought it prudent to grant the request and saw that these particular Cretans were among those that could be properly instructed in the science of government. So they wisely sought to do this as a means of long-range cicatrices. Cicatrices is basically a form of cicitration. Cicitration is the forming of a chrysalis or a...
All right, before we get fancy, it appears right here he's breaking down or giving his justification for why they decided to mix in to, you know, leaven with these particular energies, these lower level vibrations. I mean, could it be that they felt responsible for them since they opened up, you know, that dimensional tear, since they tore and ripped open whatever portal, whatever situation they did from Atlantis or before or after, whatever Montauk situation, maybe they felt responsible for these energies that are being parasitic on this earth. And they said, well, this is the reason why we felt we could. You know, let's listen to this last minute again, man. Maybe I'm bugging it, man. Listen close.
And so, this is one of the things that we definitely have to be prepared for in the next few years. But, so as to get back to the continental United States, that whole thing, in terms of the royals factoring into the equation, which is what caused me to veer off into the whole dimensional shift, consciousness axis grid shift change, is the universal and planetary conditions that they factored into the whole equation. Thus is why they gave great consideration to sanctioning the Declaration of Independence for these Albions.
Albions. Alba. Sounds like albino.
So they thought it prudent to grant the request and saw that these particular Cretans,
these royals, these albinos, these Cretans, we saw that these particular white folk
were among those that could be properly instructed in the science of government.
We could instruct these white folk on government. Now, hindsight is 2020. Did that work out for anybody? We could instruct them on, you know, the government of colonizing. Remember, they had 13 colonies. You only need a colony when you're colonizing. You heard the brother Asir and them talk about the original 13 colonies. The brother Uno left a great comment. He loves the bro. Always on time. Never a day late. Never a dollar short. The brother left a great drop, you know what I'm saying, about, you know what I'm saying, these 13 colonies. Essentially, they gave, or, you know, however, gave up their 13 colonies to these so-called Caucasians. And they wanted more. So they said, nah, we want more. So listen to, they're always opening up, tearing, ripping open these dimensional, you know, portal tears. They're ripping this shit clean open. They did it here, then they helped him break down another barrier to reach you and find you here, so-called Negro. Now they finally find you here, and these people instruct them on how to further colonize you.
To veer off into the whole dimensional shift, consciousness, access, grid shift, change, is the universal and planetary conditions that they factored into the whole equation. Thus,
universal and planetary conditions that they factored into the whole equation. These albinos, he's saying it. Listen up.
this is why they gave great consideration to sanctioning the Declaration of Independence for these
Albino, let go.
So they thought it prudent to grant the request and saw that these particular Cretans were among those that could be properly instructed in the science of government. So they wisely sought to do this as a means of long-range kikatrikis. Kikatrikis is basically a form of cicitration. Cicitration is the forming of a chrysalis or a scab, much like the one you form on your body when you cut yourself, and which was a means of healing the Moorish nation and the land as well over, like I said, a long-range period of time.
A long-range time, so you make a deal with the devil to heal something in the long range, to heal the land. Hindsight is 2020, right? How did that work out for you? I mean, can you really sit here today in 2017, look at your present condition, and look at actual, factual events that went down, the massacre that went down, and stand by this shit and say, this is why we made these deals, made these treaties with these Cretans? It was wisdom. We wisely made that move. They still see this shit as a wise move. To them, any abuse, any, any drop they can have on you. That's what they think, is that they got the drop on you, these Moors over these Moors. To them, you're the dirty Moor. To us, they're the heathen. They are the heathen. But to them, we're the dirty Moors, these Israelites. We want it for Moab. We want it for Morocco. We want it for Atlantis. How did that work out, this Atlas, son of Poseidon? Yeah, the son of Poseidon's name is Atlas, and the plural form is Atlantis. So when you say it's Atlantis and you claim it, you're claiming a hijacked fallen angel. The son of Poseidon setting up the first 10 dynastic kingdoms or rulers or Nessuts of Atlantis times, the first 10 dynastic ones, setting it off here in Atlantis, which is here in Egypt, which is where in the Grand Canyon, all throughout Illinois. Like he said, Libya is Chicago.
So at this time, you had the fourth Chrysalis, or president, John Hancock Bay, and the rest of the Congress who agreed to sanction or authenticate the declaration of these British subjects and give them instruction under the tutelage of Emmanuel Muali Ben Bey Justice. It was also during this 7 years war period that the Moorish national flag was removed during the time of the Crow. And when I say during the time of the Crow, I'm talking about the Cornics, meaning the seventh Chrysalis, known as Ion Gracalus, but more commonly known as John J. Bay. And so, at this time, we have, concerning these particular events, which were all a culmination of the 300 years conflict dating back to 1494, during the Taurus, the Decretum Pontifex, or the Papal Bulls and the Treaty of Tordesillas, during the so-called Christopher Columbus Cretan era, involving the so-called Spanish conquest of Latin Spain.
And notice how he said Christopher Columbus Cretan era. So when he just referred to making a deal with the Cretans, now he is referring to that with Columbus, which is why some people say, oh, Columbus was black or he is a Moor. Either way, we know that he had a treaty with these guys, that he found one group of Indians warring with the other group of Indians, one group of Moors against the other Moors, one group of Khans in Ame'rican. One group of cons against the other group of cons. Titles. Let's go.
I talked about Mehmed II and the empire opening up for the Moors. This was actually, as I said, during the time of the 7th ruler, Mehmed II. In fact, I would refer you to Libretto 13, The Consecrated Talisman, The Genealogy of the Imperial Dragon Court, and Count Dracula. Also, Libretto 18, 720 questions to ask a Moorish American. So, anyway, the Ottoman Empire, as I said, opened up or expanded as far as Brutium, which Admiral Ahmed Muhyiddin Piri ibn Haji Mehmed documents in the naval book known as the Kitabi Barre'i, including the world-famous Piri Reis Bay Portolano of the Americas as an integral part of the Moorish Ottoman Empire, which was the same map which was presented to Muhammad the Conqueror's grandson, Yavu Salim I, who was the 9th ruler in 1517. So the map was presented to him by Piri Reis Bey himself, and it's the most accurate map to date concerning the Americas, using both polar projection geometry, plane and spherical trigonometry, which is basically a fancy way for saying converting one form of math to another. Thus is why, when the map then resurfaced in 1929 in the Serre Library in Istanbul, the United States Secretary of State, Henry Stimson rather at that time, via the United States Ambassador Charles H. Sherrill, for whom Henry Stimson gave a series of instructions to acquire copies of the map from Yusuf Akoda Bey, who was the president of the Moorish Historical Society. But basically, Henry Stimson wanted copies of the map for the sole purpose of finding evidence of the so-called Christian Columbus land discovery claim of the Americas. Unfortunately, only to find empirical evidence of the ancient Moorish presence in America. I refer you to Libretto 8, 360 questions to ask a Moorish American. Also, if I'm not mistaken, Libretto 7. So now this brings us to 1795 period. Salim Khan, who was also known as Salim II of the line of Muhammad the Conqueror, known as the most powerful of all princes of the empire, commanding the 2 lands and the 2 seas.
Y'all thought this was play. Y'all really thought this was play. I said, is this the one group of Moors against another group of Moors? One group of Khans against another group of Khans? And then we have the Cariates being its own section, or you know what I'm saying? Then that's connected to the Kenites, which is connected to these Rechabites, which is, you're getting back to Jeremiah 28. These Rechabites, Kenites, Cariates, King David, this tribe of Moses. Now, who are they warring against?
Also, if I'm not mistaken, Libretto 7. So now this brings us to 1795 period. Salim Khan, who was also
Salim Khan, let's go.
Also known as Salim II of the line of Muhammad the Conqueror.
Of the line of Muhammad. So you have these Khans. Remember, Khan is not a name, but a title. So you're just saying the ruler, whoever was the ruler, was the Khan. Who got the Khan? Now they call it Cohen, the Cohen gene, the Cohen, the Khan. It's a title of who was ruling. So a Khan is not a one particular bloodline, just like a Mongol is not one particular bloodline, just like a Moor is not one particular bloodline, which is why they keep saying Moorish. Moorish, Jewish, Blackish, Moorish, American. I mean, if we're just talking Moab, say Moabites. Be specific. But Moorish, great-ish. You know, it makes it very general. Oh, a bunch of Moorish Americans were here. Moorish. Some were Moabites, some were not quite. They were other Shemites. They were Moorish. I mean, again, do you say blackish or are you black? And if you're not black, say I ain't black. You know what I'm saying? Are you white-ish? Are you this-ish? Are you cool-ish? Or is you cool or is you ain't? You can't be cool-ish, right? So Moorish, what does it mean?
Known as the most powerful of all the princes of the empire, commanding the two lands and the two seas. Now those two lands and two seas were Galilee and Libya, which, as I said before, known to you as Michigan and Chicago.
Galilee is Michigan and Libya is Chicago. And this is what Mahomet was ruling. Thoth was ruling. Listen up, man. The truth sounds stranger than fiction.
Now, Salim Khan was the individual who entered into the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, or the Perpetual Treaty of Peace and Friendship, between Tunis and the United States of America. Now, Tunis...
Whoa. So look, this Khan made a deal with the corporation. So remember, you have this Prester John, this Juan Khan being taken out by his foster son or blood nephew, brother's son, this other Khan, this other group of Khans. So either, you know, he was a foster son, either way, Genghis Khan hijacked his way into the Khan title and took out his uncle or foster father or something like that, where we're getting in these Mongol carriers. Now we can connect it. So this Khan makes a deal with the devil for rulership, overthrowing another Khan.
Tunis, of course, at that time, as I said, was known as Tunis, but prior to that it was Funis. It was also known as Carthage. Prior to that it was known as Phoenicium, which again is also Galilee.
Whoa, Michigan.
But now, as I said, Salim Khan also ruled the two seas. In addition to these two lands, the two seas were the Adriatic Sea and the Aegean Sea. Now, the Adriatic Sea is Lake Superior. The Aegean Sea is Lake Michigan. But now, the interesting thing about this is that Salim Khan agreed to enter into this treaty in August of 1797, March 26, 1799, for the simple reason of the bellicose conflicts that were going on in and throughout the Americas at that time, and also, as I said earlier, the fact that the Moorish Navy had fallen on the Sea of Galilee in West Palestine, 1795.
So the first reason he entered into the treaty is because of the conflict that he already got. Because of the melanated so-called Indian War already happening here, which connected to the war that was happening in so-called Europe and England and the Scottish and the Picts and these different clans coming out fighting against, you know what I'm saying, King James and them. You know what I'm saying? Fighting against the Romans. The Picts were always whooping up on Romans, man. So then you have these other people making deals with the Romans. Making deals. All right? You see two different, you know, lineages or energies. You see chaos. You see order. One has a chaotic perspective of Earth as a Moroccan empire for Moab and the Canaanites. And the Creator has established order.
So now, what's very interesting about this is that no sooner than this was done, you had the beginning of what became known as the westward expansion of the Europeans when they started basically bogarting and stealing lands all across the Americas, from Kentucky all the way to California. And the reason why I say from Kentucky to California, because these particular kingdoms, so-called states, were key in this expansion, starting from the Treaty of Greenville in 1795, the 1800 Harrison Land Act, and also the Yazoo Act of 1795. So now the westward expansion lasted all the way until 1890, Christian era. And as I said, the reason why the expansion started had a lot to do with seizing land, but also resources. And one in particular at that time was gold. And the reason why they wanted gold so badly, so desperately, was because their economy, such as it was always in a state of arrest and peril. And the economy and treasury had been seized by the bankers via the Bank of the United States, starting from 1790 during the Alexander Hamilton era, a few years prior to 1795, of course. So via the Bank of the United States, which was the predecessor that laid the foundation or groundwork for what later became the Federal Reserve Bank. But the Bank of the United States, you had the Bank of New York, which was Isaac Roosevelt's baby, who was, of course, the ancestor of Theodore Roosevelt, who came in with the so-called Square Deal. And then you had FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, in 1933, who brought in the New Deal. And so they were looking to acquire gold because they heard about the goal of the Beys, or the hereditary line of Beys, and the Khans, as in Salim Khan, which was...
I can't make this shit up. I'm just surfing the wave. Alright? When we throw this stuff out there, we hope to connect. And I've never got this far. I never had time to get this far. A lot of times I've been watching it with you. I got 4 children. My daughter turns 7 tomorrow. Come on, man. Alright, so he just said the Khans. The Khans. Juan Khan, Prester John. One group of Templars, another group of Templars. One group of Moors, one group of Khans. Huh?
Groundwork for what later became the Federal Reserve Bank. But the Bank of the United States, you had the Bank of New York, which was Isaac Roosevelt's baby, who was, of course, the ancestor of Theodore Roosevelt, who came in with the so-called Square Deal. And then you had FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, in 1933, who brought in the New Deal. And so they were looking to acquire gold because they heard about the goal of the Beys, or the hereditary line of Beys, and the Khans, as in Salim Khan, which was in California. So...
Whoa, the Khans are in California. Then we get into the Califia. The Khans are in Califia. The Khans in Califia. Khans in Califia. Khan, Prester John, Saliman, Califia, Sarah Kali, Siba, Saba, Sheba, Queen Califia, Sarah Kali, Saba, Siba, Sheba, Khan, Juan, Khan, Saliman, Lemna Dangle DeWeet, Saliman, Sheba, Saliman, Sheba, Saliman. Y'all flowing with me? Are we wavy, baby? Do we have a Solomon and Sheba right here? And is that why these Khans are right here in Cali?
Ultimately, or the ultimate goal and destination of the westward expansion was California. Why is that? Because the name California indicates exactly what was there, because it was Caliph, California. It was the vaults of the Caliph. So you have, as I said, Caliph, and then you have Fornia. Fornia or Fornix is the Moorish Latin for vault. You've heard about Fort Knox. Now, Fort Knox, interestingly enough, is not any one place in particular, because Fort Knox actually means Fornix.
And these dudes are just so treacherous, man, because you're gonna skip over the you're gonna skip over the richness of the reality, not the myth, not an allegory, the reality of so-called Queen Khalifa, Sarah Cali, and then talk about it's just the vault, about gold, the fortune, the fortune is not about. Man, you're going to skip over Sheba, you're going to skip over Khalifa, you're going to skip over Cali to talk about the gold in the vault. That's all they think about. This is chaos.
Fornix means any vault, anywhere. And so, if you want to say that it is any one specific place, it would actually be 12 places, because you have vaults of gold in the basement or dungeon or whatever you want to call it in the Federal Reserve banks. The so-called 12 Federal Reserve banks, you have gold in the Fornix. So anyway, this should give you some indication as to, as I said, the whole California Caliph or vaults of the Caliph thing, and as to why they wanted to desperately acquire this gold. And so this brings us to the period of, as I said, the westward expansion, which continued from 1795 for the settlers in and throughout the Moorish dominions of the United States, had long since begun for the Spanish and the Franciscan Dutch from the 60th parallel of the equator, South America, all the way to the Moorish lands of the Negas in Eudacia or Judasia, today known as Burma and Myanmar. So again, like I said, you had this westward expansion in South America simultaneously while you had it going on in North America. And in South America, as I said, it started long before, starting from the 60th parallel, going all the way up to as far west from South America to the land of the Negas, to Siam, to Malaya, to Sumatra, to Matra.
Wait, South America west to the land of the Negas? Negas means kings, right? I just took this down because I was like, man, I don't think I'm going to need my old trusted reality simulation today. But just when the going gets rough, you need this smooth water. All right, so Negas, he said South America, right? So again, look at this now. This is a reality simulation from Arizona. You see the size of South America compared to the rest. So how much do you know about South America? How much does anybody really know? Who really goes down there? And again, if our maps were flipped upside down, then the tip of South America is north, not south. Now he's just talking South America. He's just talking Negas. And then this reality simulation from Arizona. When you go west in South America, you get into what they call here the Black Coast, the Black Kingdom. That's right where Peru would be. And we're only talking about Jerusalem. Jerusalem. Now, that's Black Kingdoms. Again, on top of that is Kush. On top of that is Egypt, Stagia, Kim, Luxor. On top of that is Shem. We have Argos. We have Ophir. We got a lot about that Ophir right here. Now you have Pickland divided into 12 sections or 12 tribes. And then right around here where you know, all this would be the four corners. But on top of this is called Samaria. Samaria. So, you know, Samaria connected with that Shemash or Chemash or Shemash, the Samaria, sun god, all that stuff that started being worshipped and was worshipped here with the Atlantis situation and separated. You know, in the days of Peleg, it says, was the earth divided? In the days of Peleg, was the earth divided? And you go over to this so-called Africa, and you don't have Kim, you don't have Luxor, you don't have nothing. You have Kasala and Vendia and India, Vendia, Utora Kuru, everything but what you think you would find. And all the OG Africa is right here. You have Punt. You know what I'm saying? Don't make us punt you, butthurt. Because Punt is right here over the Amazon in South America. All right, connected to Zimbabwe, which is over South America. All this is over South America. And that's why they call this the motherland. That's why they call this the motherland. Now they flip you. Now they flip you. Because when you over here thinking Africa, Africa, they taking all of your shit. Because you think all melanated people come from Africa. Even that little white boy on the corner in the tank top smoking a cigarette, he 8 years old. He said, "Nigga, go back to Africa." So even he knows you're from Africa. So that little ignorant little Peckerwood yelling at you, "Go back to Africa," he knows just as much as your conscious scholar telling you from Africa. How does the conscious scholar tell you from Africa and the little Peckerwood with the cigarette yelling, "Go back to Africa," is still telling you from Africa? How are they agreeing? How does your conscious scholar agree? How does Horace Butler agree with the little Peckerwood on the corner? What level of consciousness is this? Maybe it's in reverse. Maybe this is the motherland. Maybe this is Egypt, Libya, Chicago. Libya, Chicago. Let's get a couple more minutes, man, and we're going to take it on home for the finale.
Java, Ojava, Borneo, the Moluccas, up to Mindanao of the Sulu Archipelago, to the Philippines, Hawaiian Islands, and all the way back to California, 32nd, 40th degree north latitude. And so, one of the reasons for this, on the part of the Spanish and the Franciscan Dutch, was that they were looking to, much like, for those of you who may remember the classic sci-fi movie Dune, where the whole thing was about controlling the spice. So you had the Dutch, who were trying to control the spice, or the so-called spice trade, and therefore had started what later became the Spice Wars. Thus was one of the reasons why the Moors in 1774 consolidated their power to form what later became Consociumos Regnum, or so-called United States Corporation Family Corporate Trust, basically to protect the family interest that, as I said, was the whole continent of the so-called United States, and the empire, which is
I guess they got cut off, but so yeah, their family interest is everything. Their family interest is everything. Their family interest is everything for Morocco. Alright, so on that, man, we're going to, take it on home for the finale, man. You know what I'm saying? It's been a beautiful ride. 7-part series, man. The Moor, the Moabite, the Mahomet, the Baphomet of Belus. This is the, part 7. Go check out everything else. Maybe we'll go ahead and do a dismount here with this Dark Light 84, man. Reverse history lesson. This is 1 minute long, man. Love to y'all. Stay up, suit up, choose up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rebecca, an emancipated slave from New Orleans. Wow. What's this, 1863? This is an emancipated slave in New Orleans. Reverse his story.
If I make
This is an emancipated slave, man, in 1863. So these Moors been enslaving these people. These Moors been giving them, work then and then. But then when they made them treaties, man, then they use these people and those people use them. I mean, you can't play both sides of the fence, man. when we get into the hidden truth, we're only talking reality.
Shit that y'all never know.
This is America. Look at the setup. Oh, come on. Come on, come on. Yeah. All right. I got too excited, my busy. My busy.
When we was still in Polo.
Let go. Let go.
Then wear it up to the school. Hell no, we wasn't broke. We just acted a fool.
So this is the state of Louisiana. See all the melanated people rocking this now. Which Moors are these? Which colonies are these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 colonies of Moors. Originally.
Shirt tucked in our jeans. We just thought it looked cool. You can say what you want, but that don't make it the truth. When it's 91 outside, bet it's 69 in my coat. The AC blowing.
Around the same time the Caucasian was coming out of slavery in Louisiana, the Negro had his own establishment in Louisiana. Yes, and yes, the Moors were, how do you say, jamming everybody up in their establishment. Where were we in their picture, in Morocco's picture?
And we smoking that old. Her homegirl looking good. Yeah, I'm scoping that too.
Yeah.
But I heard you got her pregnant. That's what's up when y'all do. If somebody knocked on my door, Nick, I'm hoping that's you. But that's a dream deferred.
And that's how it is, man. Stay up, suit up, choose up, man. Keep surfing the wave. Keep loving up, man, on J Stu and the crew. You know what I mean? Keep loving up, man, because they love you every day. We love the Creator. All praise the Creator. Hawa, Hawa, existence forever. Love y'all.